Hello, everybody. My name is Luminiferous Quack, and welcome to Trails of Cold Steel. Alright, you're seeing things pause for a second here. Just double checking. Okay, we are recording. Alright. Hopefully everything sounds fine. I am pretty tired right now, so we'll see how things go. It's going to be a short stream, only 2 hours at most. Yeah. Finished my, practical exams, got A's on all of them, 100% my presentation, 98 on the, first one, therapeutic exercise, and then 95 on my, what's it called, the, lower quarter class. Yeah. So yeah, things went well. Now I just have finals week to go. Studying for that.
Mid-August. It was the peak of summer, and the sweltering sun was beating down on the residents of Trista.
Alright, he's writing a story here. Okay, there's a lot of loud noises going on outside. I don't know if you can hear that.
After returning from Heimdall, we were given a whopping 5-day summer vacation before the school year resumed.
Whopping 5 days. I wish I could have that.
Turns out, Thor sticks to its military roots, only granting extended vacations to students over the New Year's holiday. However, nobles are allowed to visit home, ostensibly to give them time to become familiar with their family's holdings.
Why is that cat there? What are you doing over there, cat? You ain't a noble. Are you?
And, as you might expect, that meant most students from classes 1 and 2 spent summer away from Trista.
Just sweeping up the cat over there.
Meanwhile, classes 3 through 5 were stuck on campus, envying the nobility as they studied and trained as usual.
Excuse me. I'm moving this mic a little to there. Maybe that's a little better. I don't know what it sounds like, so, hopefully it sounds fine.
The other members of Class 7 and I chose to stay in Trista as well, facing the heat with our fellow students.
Oh, so noble of you, Reen. Now they have all this technology. I wonder if they invented air conditioners. Why is the bell going off when there's no school? And why are you guys in the classroom when there's no school? Or is vacation over? I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Ugh. It's so hot. I'm dying. I'm sick of this heat already. Talking about it just makes me feel even hotter. I remember this summer. It sucked. Summers in Texas, depending where you are, actually. Actually, no, everywhere in Texas is hot. The Academy should install an orbital air conditioner. Oh, they do have air conditioners. At least then I'd be a little bit easier to cope. It'd be a little bit easier to cope there. An orbital air conditioner. What is that? Okay, so it's something new, I guess. Oh, it's this device that blows out cool air and helps regulate a room's temperature. Okay. It'd be neat if they chose a different name instead of air conditioner. Like air regulator would make way more sense. Or temperature regulator. An air conditioner sounds like, who came up with that name? Thinking about it. You gotta get that air to be in good shape, I guess. Maybe it'd help if you think of it as the opposite of a stove. Wow. Wow. That's some kind of wizardry. I've heard of them, but aren't they supposed to be prohibitively expensive? The heck are you saying, Machias? Only the most modern buildings seem able to afford them. What? What are you on right now, Machias? Buildings? Modern buildings can afford them? I don't understand what he's saying. Do you have one in your home? A house? Well, there's one in the Reinford Company's corporate headquarters, yeah. It'd be nice if my mother could spare one, you know, for the academy she sits on the board of directors of, or for. Seems a bit much to hope for that. This is a military academy, so I doubt we can expect to be indulged quite that much. Still, a machine to help us keep cool in the summer. Whoever first invented that should get a medal. I'll admit, the summer heat here is more difficult to cope with than in Legrand. But as long as I think of it as another part of my training, it doesn't bother me all that much. Brehard gets similar summer heat waves, but there's usually a breeze blowing from the canyon at this time of the year. That does make summer a bit easier to manage. My hometown's up the mountains, so it's pretty cold even around this time of the year. Actually, now that you mention it, would have thought you three would go back home for the summer, being nobles and all. You were given permission, weren't you? If everyone else was going home, I would have considered it. But in the end, I decided against it. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago I got to see Elise. Maybe next year. I came here to train. Till I feel like I've made significant progress, I have no intention of returning home. Some of you saw my father's mansion. Do you think I'd go back to a place like that willingly? Yeah, Eustace has a point. He could get stuck there again. Or get into some kind of mess. Who knows what by going back there. I'd much rather stay here and take my chances with heat stroke. You're really that uncomfortable at home, huh? Still, hot as that is, there's a lot going on right now. I doubt all the people headed to the conference at the end of the month have much time to be worrying about the heat. You make a good point. Excuse me. You're talking about the West Zumeria Trade Conference, right? That's the one. There's never been an international conference on that scale before, at least not in modern times. Mayor Dieter Croix, or Dieter Croix, who always happened to be the International Bank of Crossbell's CEO, was the one who first proposed it. How does he happen to be? Who also happens? Okay. My brain's so tired today. I've heard that Prince Olivert will be attending on behalf of His Majesty the Emperor. And Crossbell, or Chancellor Osborne, is supposed to be attending too. Seems crazy to think we met them both just a few weeks ago. The Chancellor in particular was a pretty intimidating figure. Seems like a big scary monster. I've heard he served in the military, Imperial Army before becoming a politician. Then 11 years ago, His Majesty entrusted him with the position of Chancellor. Supposedly, a full 70% of the Imperial Army is under his jurisdiction. It's a weird thing to do. I mean, there's already like 2 factions. To add another faction and to limit your own ability to control things by giving them so much of your power. It's not a great idea. His real fame comes from establishing most of the nation's railway network centered on the capital. Though he's also been responsible for annexing several smaller countries and independent states from around Erebonia. I believe those all took place without any bloodshed, though, at least as far as I'm aware. I wouldn't put too much stock in what he's selling. Military spending in this country has increased exponentially since he took up his position as Chancellor. And that's only possible thanks to the tax revenue he gleans from the people of Heimdall and those annexed nations. Well, he was the one who ordered the construction of those 2 railway guns they've got pointed at Crossbell too. At one point, Erebonia was on the verge of a full-scale war with Calvard because of those things. Doesn't sound like the greatest situation, huh? Oh yeah, I heard that it was actually the Burl that proposed a way to avoid an armed conflict. They ended up signing the Non-Aggression Pact, right? Yeah, though as I'm sure you've noticed, there's still quite a bit of tension between the 2 countries. I wouldn't be surprised if the issue reared its head again during the trade conference. Chancellor Osborne's been a really popular figure in the capital, though. Popular enough that he seems to have a group of terrorists after him. I still don't understand the terrorists, what they're trying to do. Nothing they're doing makes any sense. They're just hurting the people, and it's not affecting him at all. He does seem to be the Imperial Liberation Front's main target, doesn't he? Why did they could have, put all that effort into trying to do something to Chancellor Osborne, but instead they decided to go after 2 little girls. Yeah, well, whatever. Hammer judgment of that shall blah blah blah, I don't care what they say, and all that. Indeed, they seem to harbor a deep-seated grudge against him. Then they should do something about it. Now, helping the nobles is not the thing they should be doing, considering, everything they stand against is something the nobles also do. Even worse most of the time. Their anger seemed a bit unusual in its intensity, didn't it? He does seem like the type who'd make a lot of enemies, especially with a face like that. Well, I'd rather not speak ill of my father's close ally, but... Come to think of it, isn't the instructor awfully late? Oh, we are supposed to be having class? It's well past time for homeroom to start. What, is this supposed to be during the vacation, or did vacation already pass? Or I guess time did flow. So I guess this is after the vacation? If that's the case, why did they ask us today why we didn't go home? Whatever, it's expedition time. As for that woman, she'd better not be sleeping off another hangover back at the dormitory. Wouldn't put it past her. I wish I could say there's no way our outstanding instructor would do that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse me. I'll have you know I did no such thing. Today.
Okay. I just don't understand the voice acting in this game. Like, sometimes it is voice acting, sometimes it isn't. It's nonsensical.
Instructor?
And sometimes it's just half voice acted with only one of the characters talking, the other one not.
Good morning, instructor.
Morning, everyone! Anyway, I'll have you know I've got a good reason for being late today.
Let's hear it.
And that reason is, we're going to be welcoming a new classmate today.
Let's see, which one is it?
What?
I have a vague memory of people entering the class. I just don't know when each one was.
A transfer student at this time of year?
Seriously?
All right, come on in.
Righto.
Oh, isn't that's Crow's voice, right? Okay, so it's Crow.
Huh?
Oh,
Crow?
But isn't he a second-year student?
so he's a dropout.
I'm Crow Armbrust.
Armbrust. Armbrust or breast? You said breast, dude.
Starting today, I'll be joining you fine folks as a member of Class 7. It's gonna be pretty sweet, guys.
What?
What? I mean, how?
Are you sure you want to know? It's a long tale fraught with the intrigue of school politics.
He failed, and he has to make up credits.
I don't think I'd put it quite like that. Back in his first year, he slacked off so much that he ended up failing a few of his classes.
Knew it.
Then he came crying to me in a panic, like, oh, me Instructor Sarah, they're not gonna let me graduate.
That line read, jeez.
So as a special exception, he's going to be joining us for the next 3 months to pay for his laziness.
You can't be serious.
That's a good line read too.
That's an even more pathetic reason than I was bracing myself for.
I think you already know that Crow was one of the trial users for the Arcus test they ran last year. So I thought he might be a good role model for you. In that sense, anyway. And don't forget, he'll also be joining us on our future field studies, too.
He'll be a great role model for us, you know, just like you are, Instructor Sarah.
Nice. Looks like you saved me the trouble of having to explain it all. Anyway, let's let the good times roll. Oh, and since we're all classmates now, no need for all that sweet talking you lay on the other second years, all right?
Sounds a win.
Right.
Easier said than done, I fear.
If he was any more laid back, he'd be comatose.
Instructor, I can't help but notice you left the door open.
Wait, is there someone else too?
Wait, there's another one? Wait, did they both show up?
Huh?
We don't have enough seats for that. And how the heck are you going to move in another desk that's like this solid hunk of... It does not look like wood, but it could be.
Are you serious?
Oh, I was hoping to catch you off guard. All right, come on in and say hello.
I thought you forgot I was out in the hall!
I think I recognize that voice too, but I already know who this is. Jeez, that was fast.
What?
What?
You must be joking.
Hey, aren't you?
You're the girl we met in the Nord Highlands.
Yuppers! Long time no see, guys! But I see a couple of you I don't know, so I guess I better introduce myself. I'm Milliam Orion. And this here's Eric Getlum, but we'll just call him Lammy for short.
I feel like that's supposed to be secret.
What the hell is that? Holy crap!
It's that thing we saw at Ark's fort.
I mean, they shouldn't be too surprised considering they've seen something very similar every training or every practical exam.
So this is that strange girl you met in the Nord Highlands.
Oh, and a little house rule before anything gets blown up. No bringing that thing out in the classroom. If he accidentally smashes a wall or blasts through the ceiling, I'm the one who's gonna get chewed out for it.
Boo!
So like, does it
Anyway,
actually disappear or does it go invisible?
nice to meet you guys.
The heck kind of pose is that?
Tell me you're kidding. Please?
I really wish I could.
Well, I can see we're in for some fun times these next 3 months.
But I mean, if he was stacking up last year, how does going to our classes fix anything? Because doesn't he still have his own classes to do? Fuck, there should just be some remedial exams or stuff like that. Or you have to do an extra class. I should probably read this. At first, one was sure. At first, no one was sure what to make of Crow Armbrust and Intelligence Division Agent Miriam Orion. Yeah, Orion. And sudden transfer into Class 7. But within a matter of days, it almost felt like they'd been there all along. You guys cope, I guess, really well. I'm sure none of you need to be reminded that it was none other than Emperor Dracula who ended the War of the Lions. Seriously, we're still going over this? But did you know that historical records tell us that he had amazingly few soldiers under his command? I mean, if we're going over this stuff, almost all the way through our first year, we got some issues with our pacing in class. Initially, his allies numbered only a few confidants and several warriors from Nord. And while supporters rallied to him in each region, his ranks still couldn't hope to compare to the other prince's armies. Nonetheless, they continued to advance, liberating region after region. After half a year of bloody battles, Prince Dracula met perhaps his most well-known supporter. Millium, right? Would you happen to know the historical figure to whom I'm referring? Sure do. Leanne Sandlot, also known as the Lance Maiden. Alright, you are. Well done. Sandlot was the daughter of a count who ruled over a remote region, and accounts tell us she showed great martial skill from a young age. In particular, her skill with the lance was unparalleled. No record exists of her ever being bested in combat. The Lance Maiden also had a group of mighty warriors under her command. He fought alongside her in battle. Perhaps you'd like to illuminate us as to the name of the famous band ring? Sure, let me just look at this. It was something. A group of mighty warriors led by the Lance Maiden. That's the Gallschritter, Stylarter, Einsreiter, or Eisenreich. I'm pretty sure it's that. I should probably bring this my guide thing. Einsreiter, yeah. I'm trying to pronounce all of these things. Stahlreiter, Gallsreiter. Yeah, Einsreiter. Probably supposed to be right, not Reiter, but who knows. Einsreich, also known as the Iron Knights. They were a band of knights said to be able to charge across the battlefield like lightning, cutting down all in their path. Correct. He paused there for a second. I was worried. Even though the guide should be right. Correct. You've done your homework. No, I haven't. I have a cheat sheet, but don't worry about it. I wonder. The Wandering Prince met the Lance Maiden one day during a prolonged conflict in a remote region of the country. After recognizing each other as reliable and trustworthy, they pledged to fight together under a united banner. With the Lance Maiden and her knights bolstering his ranks, Dracula's army swept through one region after another. In just a year, he was able to defeat the other princes and free the imperial capital Heimdall. As an interesting footnote, the castle that Einzelreich used as their base of operations 250 years ago just so happens to be only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Laura's home in Legram. Didn't she already tell us this? Indeed, it's known as Legram Castle. It's a beautiful old building situated on the shore of Lake Ebel, to the west of Legram. Oh, you've mentioned that before. Does anyone live there now? Oh, due to the dangerous terrain there, no one goes near it. These days, it exists simply as a relic of a bygone era. The Arsed family is responsible for care and maintenance of the castle, though really, only minimal work is done. No one goes there, how? Speaking of the Arsed house, wasn't one of your ancestors the Einzelreiter's second in command? Indeed. The Lance Maiden's most trusted assistant and confidant, from what I understand, the Sandlot family line ended with the death of the Lance Maiden. And it's partially because of that the Arsed family mourns her death each year. I see. What a fascinating story. Well, Grandma, never had a mission there, so I've never been able to go. Maybe I should have stopped by when I went to Brehard a while back. She's not the best at keeping secrets, though. You'd think she'd at least try to conceal the fact that she gets sent all over the country on secret missions. I know, she totally just let it slip that she was doing something very hard too. Well, I suppose it's better than her being all distant and cagey around us. Or it could be a front. Okay, so tomorrow's a free day. Already? Which means that next Wednesday you'll have your usual practical exam. You better all bring your A game. So wait, they have practical exam supposed to be like once a month or once a week, because she makes it sound like it's once a week. Oh, Milliam and Pro. A few must have instructional materials you guys are going to need as part of Class 7 finally showed up. I'll hand the stuff off to you once you're done here, so I want you to come with me to the faculty lounge. Righto? Man, what a drag. Alright, homeroom's out for the day. Feel free while you can. Or flee while... What? Flee while you can. Machias, if you'll do the honors. Yes, instructor. I'll rise and bow. Okay, the rest of us are just sitting here, doing nothing. Neat. Okay, team meeting. So, what do you think? Well, I don't think we have to be on our guard around her, at least. Same. Though, I'd rather she kept the giant silver thing of hers hidden. I don't think she's a bad girl. I was taking a nap in the courtyard yesterday and she came and fell asleep next to me. What does that have to do with whether or not she's trustworthy? They look like a couple of kittens all curled up together. Their personalities may be worlds apart, but they're both rather cat-like in their own ways. Sure. I don't know any cats I've met that are like that. She can't be more than 12 or 13 still practically a child. Yeah, you're right. She's so chipper all the time and that it's hard to really be cold to her. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to spurn her. Okay, sure, this game really likes to use random words that never use. She's got this natural charm, I think. But be that as it may, her presence here reeks of blood and iron, if you take my meaning. Well, certainly seems that way.
As such, I'm planning on granting you a bit of additional assistance. I should have it ready for you in a few weeks' time.
It's hard to believe a girl like that could be an agent of the Intelligence Division, but just going off of what happened in Nord, there's not much that would make me doubt it now. And then there's that thing, Eric Getlin, that's always with her. She calls it Lammy, but aside from its name, we don't really know anything about it. It seems to be made from a strange material with both metallic and ceramic properties, hard but pliable. Agreed. It doesn't look like anything you could make even with the most cutting-edge orbital technology. When I touch it, it felt really nice and cold. So you actually touched it? I mean, it touched us when we were fighting her. Does that count? It hasn't escaped my notice that it seems strikingly similar to the combat shells we fight in our practical exams. So good, someone did notice. I think it's safe to assume that they share some kind of common origin. Yeah. The instructor said she was forced to accept it, though, in a sense, blame was forced on us too. You're welcome to think that what you will, but I don't trust her. Either way, she's technically our classmate now. Like it or not, technically she is your classmate. That's how schools work. It may be a little early to tell whether we can trust her as a friend, but we should be able to figure out pretty quickly whether we can count on her as a member of Class 7. Yeah, I mean, she has the most broken abilities, or at least her S rank is probably the most broken ability that anybody has right now. Well, that's a logical way to break it down, at least, and she's, immune to damage at the start of the fight. Huh. You're right. It's still pretty early to make sweeping judgments. Knowing her background would be great, but what's really important is whether we can count on her in a fight. Agreed, as students of a military academy, it's probably the most important issue. We'll have to wait and see. Well, considering we've lived in the same dormitory, it's be good if we all got along. Yeah, I wouldn't want her to think we were trying to make her feel unwelcome either. And then there's Crow. What's he like, Reed? You seem like you get along with him pretty well. Really? I don't know if I'd put it quite like that. If I had to say, I describe him as a capricious gambling addict way too prone to ante up for every hand. Adios Albus. He sounds like the kind of miscreant one would be better off avoiding. You can count on him when the chips are down, though. He really helped me out last month when Elise went into the old schoolhouse. He's good in a fight, and pretty handy with his Arcus too. Well, maybe we're worrying over nothing then. Still, I'm not really sure how to connect with him, Well, at least we're in a separate dorm for the time being. We'll just have to see how things go. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed that. If you like what you saw, you can watch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Luminiferous If you want to see these videos, of course, you can see me on YouTube with Luminiferous Quack on YouTube. And you can see, if you want to get notifications for when my videos come out or when I stream on Twitch, you can follow me on Twitter or X at LuminiferousQ. I hope to see you guys there. Have a good one. Please subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out. Bye-bye.